Hey there, gang. Time for another unboxing video. Let's not waste any time. We'll get right to it. So if you like comic books, stick around. We are going to have some fun. Hey there, Bubby. Welcome to Shanghai. My name is Duke, and this is another unboxing video. And this box is a little different. It's the same, but different. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you don't need to know what I mean, if you don't need a primer, you can skip ahead a couple of minutes. Well, first, please like, share, subscribe, comment, do all the groovy things. We get the bag out of the way. Please do all those things. Now you can skip ahead if you like. But for those of you who would like the primer, here's the deal. When I do unboxing and grading videos, those are the books I get, the ones that have been segregated to be sold as singles. And a single is a book that we think all by itself could bring at least $10. And so what happens is when I don't have any singles to work on, both myself and Small Sean, Tall Sean is the company co-owner. Small Sean is one of the longest serving, actually the longest serving employee of the company. We break into the inventory, the books that were set aside to be put on eBay as part of multi-book lots, and we start working on lot. But lately, because some of those books have been in inventory for a year or more, and the market has changed so much over the last year, we've been picking some books out of that inventory, books initially set aside to be put into multi-book lots, and we've looked at them and we've said, hey, I think that could sell as a single. I think that book could bring 10 bucks all by itself. And again, if we don't think a book's going to bring at least 10 bucks, we prefer to put it into a multi-book lot, you know, a group of books that together will bring at least $10. That's kind of our target. Most of the videos that you've seen over the last maybe week and a half or so have been books that I have pulled out of inventory. They've either been books that didn't sell or didn't get paid for on eBay and I have repurposed, or books I've pulled out of inventory. Anyway, that's a long way of saying that this particular box is a box that was pulled by Small Sean. He was working on multi-book lots. He pulled out some books that he thought could sell as singles. So, I am now unboxing that. I've got no idea what he set aside, so I don't know what's in this box, but I suspect there may be some things I'm going to overrule. I'm going to say, no, I don't think that's going to bring 10 bucks, and I'll reject it and put it back into a multi-book lot, and then we'll fight about it. Which is why you are here, partly just to enjoy looking over my shoulder as I go through this box and see what I've got to deal with, what I will be grading later on today, but also I need your support. Because, you know, if Sean wants to fight me on something that I've said, no, buddy, that's not going to bring at least 10 bucks. That's going to go back into the multi-book lots, and he wants to fight me on that, I want to be able to come back to him and say, oh, well, you know, my tubies say, my tubies back me up on this. So, and Sean won't see this video. He only watches my pull list videos because, I mean, he doesn't need to watch my unboxing videos. He's seen the books or will see them, and the grading videos, same thing. So anyway, that said, let's break into this box and see what we have to deal with. Now it's kind of a round robin because I have the box in front of me, but I've got to bring it around the tripod. So first off, what the hell is this thing? This is some kind of independent book I've never heard of. Archangels, The Saga. What even company is this? Eterna? But it looks like it's been signed. Is that Dan Slott? I'm not a fan of Dan Slott. I have no idea who that could be, nor do I know, I can't even really read that one, who that could be. Is that Greg Land? I don't know. Well, it's actually whoever this is. This signature matches that signature. So what the heck is that? I have no idea. I can't even read that. So because that's, I would say, normally I would say no way in a friggin' hell. But because that's signed, I guess we'll try it. What do you think? Again, I need you in the comments below to back me up. Especially if I say no. Like this book. Should this be a single? What makes this one worthy of being a single? Thor number 390. I feel like that's like a $3 book. That could even be like a dollar bin book. Is there something special about this? All right, I'm going to put that in my maybe pile. So now I've got 3 piles. I've got my definite, okay, sure pile. I'm going to have a reject pile. And then I'm going to have a maybe pile. So this is the first Frog Thor, I think, whatever his name was. So I think that one does okay. Colossal Boy fell over. And you know from past videos, these Legion action figures, they have teeny tiny little feet. And plus they've got this printing on the bottom that tends to knock them over. So we'll set him back up. And if he gives me too much trouble, I will boot his ass. Just like I'm going to boot some of these. Okay, so that must be the first appearance, and this is the first full appearance. What do you call a 6', 6" fighting mad frog? Huh. Well, we'll chew that. This is definitely a single. Definitely. And this is weird. It's got a tag on it, like it came from a comic book store, but it would have hung like that? Upside down? That's bizarre. Originally, somebody wanted $10 for it, and that's our target. But that's Spectacular Spider-Man #1. I think that's going to do more than $10. It looks in pretty good shape. It looks like it's maybe an 8 or so. All right, these latter-day Iron Mans. I say latter-day. 35 years old, 30 years old, but they're new to me. I had stopped reading Iron Man at this point as a kid. So I'll put that in the maybe pile. I don't know what that's all about. Why? And this one is a dumb book, but I never liked turning the Angel into Archangel. I mean, I get that just somebody who flies, who has wings, isn't much of a power these days, but I don't know. I never liked the metal wings thing. This one is a good book. That's a nice pick. That's the... I don't actually like that cover. I don't think it's very good, but it is much revered in collecting circles as a highly iconic collectible cover. You know, and the idea is good with, you know, Hulk reflected in the adamantium claws, but just, that pose, I mean, if you follow that through, which even hand is that, and how is he holding it like that? And the blades don't have any depth to them. I don't know. This is the first appearance of the Professor Hulk version. This one went up a little bit around the time of the Endgame movie, although he wasn't actually called Professor Hulk. So that was more speculation, and then it kind of evened out after the movie. This one, Wolverine versus Sabretooth, that's collectible, but this whiteness tends to fade. The paper quality on this wasn't very good. And you tend to get this browning up pretty easily, even though it's not all that old, maybe 25 years old now. Well, 25 years, it's technically an antique, but... but yeah, that's a good pick. It's a good pick right here. You know, unless it's beat up or has fingerprints, there's a big black stripe on the back cover I've shown you before that tends to get all full of fingerprints and gunk. But assuming that's good. This is a good pick. This one probably never should have been in inventory. And it's in nice shape. That again looks like a 7.5 or an 8. Power Girl has the boob window. Ms. Marvel had the ab window. And I'm not a big fan of Spawn myself, but that book does well. You know, it's funny, the rest of the limited series doesn't do that well. Here's another Wolverine #1. We'll probably see about 5 of these in this same box. We'll probably see a bunch of these in this same box. This one is the first Red Omega. I guess that's his name. And I made fun of this book in a previous video because it's like, this means nothing to me personally, but this goes for 10, 15, 20 bucks. I don't know why. Has Red Omega appeared recently? And what is this thing? Like right here? Like if this is where his hands are, and we assume that he's holding them at about waist length, seriously, is this his penis? Because that looks like about where it would be coming from. Which, I mean, hey, good for him if it is, right? What is this one? When Deathbird Strikes. This will go in my maybe pile because I don't know why this one. To me, these near end of run Avengers, other than, well, I was going to say other than the first appearance of Nebula, but that's 257, so that's way before this. These don't go for that much, like $3. So I'll have to check on why he's put that in a single box. Again, we got a round robin. Here's another one. We had this one already. We pulled this one. This was the first appearance of Ghost, and so that's a good book. This is one that shot up when there was rumors that Ghost was going to be in the Ant-Man movie, and it turned out that they changed the origin some and gender bent the character, and so that kind of evened it out. The price plateaued because it's kind of not the same character. But this could shoot up again because there is talk of Ghost appearing in, what movie did I hear? Some upcoming movie or show. Maybe it's Thunderbolts. I think it's Thunderbolts. There's talk of her coming back. So maybe that'll affect the price on this. Here's another Professor Hulk. This one does well. I guess, you know, it is what it is. This is another one, though, where this is either high grade or low grade. You tend to get, because it's a thick book with a heavy stock cover, and you will tend to get, if it's been read at all, you'll get these big creases in the spine, and you know, they'll be big enough that it'll shoot it right down from a 9.4 to a 6. But yeah, so that's either like high or low grade. Here's a Spawn number 1. This is, as I've told you before, sort of, it defies the law of supply and demand because there are about 1 million of these out there, and every box we get will have at least a couple in it. But it goes for, depending on the condition, 15, 20, 25 bucks every single time, even though that's not at all hard to obtain. But this one's obviously been sitting around for a while because it was originally $275 somebody wanted for it. But yeah, that'll be a $15 or $20 book, as will this one. As will this one. As will this one. As will this one. As, no, that was the end. All right. Well, if you want to Spawn, check us out on eBay. .com/comics is the seller name. And usually, you know, a week or two after I have done this video, it'll work all the way through the process and be online. Sometimes more, sometimes less. And the guy who does the postings, same guy who works on the multi-book lots, he'll probably post all 5 of those on the same day. Which I hate because I believe that cannibalizes the sales. They should be spread out. There shouldn't be any more than one of these up during a 5-day period. But that's just my theory. Nobody listens to me. And I probably shouldn't be sharing that with you, but you won't tell. I know. You'll keep it between you and I. So here's some Carnage and some Venom and some So What as far as I'm concerned. I'm not into the 90s grim and gritty stuff. This is a good book. Looks to be in nice shape, too. Nice shape. Tales of Suspense number 80. Spidey joins Doc Cock. My wife pointed that out to me once. I graded this book like 50 times, and I'm sitting at the kitchen table grading a stack of books. And she pointed out that, you know, the words here, in order to accommodate the figure, these words have been justified more than they actually would be in a headline. And so Doc Ock's arm kind of looks like the C there. And so now I can't look at that and not see Doc Cock. Who, by the way, was Red Omega. Now that cat was Doc Cock. Where'd he go? Well, he's in there. It's a good cover, Steranko cover, but this one, like many, is browning up. So, well, not brown, tanning more. You know, a little bit of brown here in the edge. Moon Knight, this book has taken off recently, and that'll be a $40 book anyway. Well, maybe it's got some spine ticks here. It might be $30. But that was one that was like a $5 book, 5 or 10 for years. This one is good. You can see here, and this is a problem. If your box isn't full, if you've got books in a comic book box, and that box isn't full, by golly, golly, buddy there, Mr. Man, you better put some stuffing in there, because this will happen. They'll bend, even with backing boards. So make sure your boxes are full. Well, in our grading videos, we've been looking at the Ralph collection. This appears to come from the Dana collection. I wonder if that's a boy Dana or a girl Dana. It's fairly low grade, but you know, it's an early Daredevil. I think it's still worth posting. Same with this one, low grade, kind of rough on the spine, but worth posting. And, you know, you've heard me say my theory before on some of these books that even if you think it's not going to bring $10, it's worth, sometimes it's worth posting just to, you know, keep folks appraised of all the different things that you have. The people who subscribe to your stream on eBay, who check it regularly, just to see that you are getting these types of books. And maybe they don't want to bid on that particular lower grade, but just to see the many things, the many and varied things that you have to offer. This was reprints, but you know, it's a good, cheap way of getting some early classic stories. Printed not too long after the first publications. I mean, this is from the 60s. It's a nice shape. Usually these square-bound spines are pretty beat up, but that's nice shape. All right, we'll set that to the side, and let's grab another stack. Iron Man number 5. Well, that's a good pull. Good job there, Sean. Nicer anyway condition. Tales of Suspense number 70. If this be treason. Oh no, Bucky's gonna die. I bet he gets better. Disaster, Iron Man and Submariner, number 79. And it's funny, it's supposed to be like metal armor, but doesn't that just look like ripped cloth to you? Oh well. I mean, and this was back when they would have presumed it to be metal. You know, back before it would have been any kind of microwave nanotech fiber. All right, the return of the Titanium Man. The face looks kind of Wall-E. Maybe that's where Disney got the design from. Some more Iron Man versus Submariner. And speaking of Submariner, here's number 2 where he's fighting Triton. These are all good pulls. Good job, Sean. Well, now this one, see that big old rip right there? It's a little rougher, but it is Tiger Shark, number 6. But still, again, I think that's, most any Silver Age book is worth posting, even if it's only a 3 or a 4. Here we're getting into the Bronze Age, a 15 center, a special origin issue. And this always cracks me up. Like, okay, so we are presuming that Atlantis is, you know, sunken Grecian architecture, but still, what need do fish people have for stairs? Or even, well, I guess multiple floors makes a little bit of sense, but I don't know. I don't know. There's Tales of Suspense 65. Amazing Spider-Man 46. The Sinister Shocker. What has somebody written on here? Don't know. Here is, it's a lower grade, but this will still do well. First appearance of Deathstroke. New Teen Titans number 2. Here's another Moon Knight number 1. Micronauts number 8. Another book that mystifies me. It's you know, gets a high price because of the Captain Universe first appearance, but he never really amounted to anything. So why does anybody care? I don't know. To me, this shouldn't be worth any more or less than any other book in the Micronauts run, although I think all of the Micronauts books should go for big money because that's just an excellent series. Here's the first appearance of the New Teen Titans in DC Comics Presents 26. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Not counting the cover, the quote-unquote cover of the insert. There's Wonder Girl, Changling. And here we go. There is the first on-panel appearance of Cyborg, of Starfire, and Raven. Ba-dum, ba-dum. God, I love George Perez, especially during this era. And I mean, that's a great comic book page. There's as many words. I mean, not that you want words just for the sake of words. But I mean, that's some script, that's some plot, that's something to dig into. And whereas today you'll get like 3 panels to a page, you know, you're getting 7 or 8. And again, you don't want more panels just for the sake of more panels. But even with more panels, he effectively tells the story very, very well. So, I mean, the difference between even these Copper Age books to today, the difference in storytelling quality is just profound. Absolutely profound. It's why I tell people, don't even bother paying $5, $6, $7 for a new comic book. Spend that same money on older books, you know, from like, you know, the 70s, the 80s, not anymore really than the late 80s, but, you know, early 80s. You will get, as far as, you know, if you want to read the books, if you're looking for an entertainment value, you will, from older books, get a much bigger bang for your buck than new comics. And I shouldn't say that because the industry is dying as it is. And if there are no new books, you know, what will that do to the back issue market? Kind of like pulp magazines. But anyway, here's Donatello's #1. And here's Leonardo's #1. I believe these are the first covers. Here's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. So that, I don't know what printing that is, but that's obviously a later printing. I'll have to look inside. #11, I think that is a first printing. Here's #10. Here's what the hell is this? Solson Publications. Authorized Martial Arts Training Manual. I have no idea what this is. I'll have to look that up, but I'm going to trust Sean on that one. Here's another Martial Arts Authorized Training Manual. Never heard of such a thing. Here's TMNT #9. Grab the next stack here. #8 with some Dave Sim art. #2, I think that's a later printing, I presume. #3, I'm going to presume that's also a later printing. #4, that looks like a later printing to me, but again, I don't know the Turtles well enough. I'll have to check on that. There is one fella who's online, Mr. Maczap, which you can follow him. I think if you search Maczap on Twitter and Instagram, he's from here in Maine. Big Turtles fan. And if you like the Turtles, he also has lots of stuff that he'll sell you. Here's Conan the Barbarian, #2. And #3. And #23. Those are tiny little wings. I don't think those wings are going to carry you. Those are almost as ridiculous as the little ankle wings that Submariner has. I'm serious. Those wings are not lifting your body off the ground. There is no way in hell. Red Sonja. I think that's her first appearance. Phantom Stranger. Like this book. Love the Jim Aparo art. God, do I love Jim Aparo. Wow. That's nice. That's nice. Bang, bang. That's horrific too. I mean, that's the kind of thing that really makes you go, want to pick up that book and see what's going on. Witching Hour number 13. That's a good pull. With the gray tone here and the spider with the skull. Amazing Spidey 212, the first Hydro Man. The classic Jokerfish issue of Detective Comics from the equally classic Steve Englehart, Marshall Rogers run on the title. There's the, technically the second, but kind of the first appearance of Deadshot. He appeared once in the 1950s, early 50s. I think it was Batman number 55, if I'm remembering correctly. And this is actually his second appearance all the way up into 1970, see the 77 or 78, with a whole new design. So that's a good pull. This is technically kind of sort of the first appearance of the Huntress, what I call the real Huntress. And I saw online they're going to bring back the Huntress and give her superpowers, which, you know, she's not really the Huntress anymore, is she? But the Helena Wayne Earth 2 Huntress is, for my money, the only Huntress. But this was a good book. First appearance of the Huntress. Technically, it's tied with an issue of All-Star Comics. Origin of Green Arrow and the first case of the Legion of Superheroes. So that's another good pull. This came from thingsfromanotherworld.com. It's a sticker it has on there. Here is, what is this? $2.98. I think that's the first Todd McFarlane and maybe sorta. And first appearance of Venom in the Shadows cameo. Wonder Woman number 1. This one usually doesn't go for a lot, but it's a good book. That George Perez run on Wonder Woman is, I think, the best run ever. This one is really collectible because it's a Todd McFarlane cover with the Out of Control cape. This also came from Things from Another World. It's a little beat up. You can see that bottom staple's rough, and it looks like it might almost be popped. But that should still do well. Here's another one from the Englehart Rogers run. Sign of the Joker. Daredevil 158. We've seen this a fair degree. This one's got a spine roll. But that is the first Frank Miller, not the first Frank Miller art on Daredevil, but the beginning of his run on the title here. And Daredevil was super close to cancellation. That's the only reason, really, that Frank Miller even got the job, because nobody else wanted it. The book was about to be canceled. I think it was down to bi-monthly status at this point. But he sure turned it around in a hurry, and it wouldn't be too many issues before he was writing as well as drawing. And we'll grab another stack. Power Pack. Well, you know, Tall Sean picks this book as well. This is one I'm definitely going to reject. It doesn't do that well. And if it's going to do any, it's probably not going to do $10. And even if it does, it's only going to do it in super high grade. And you can maybe see here, we've got several spine ticks. That's going to be like a 6 at best. So I'm gonna say no to that book. This one's a little higher grade, so yeah, maybe. Well, actually, no, with that fold there. But do I dare reject both of them? Will that just piss Sean off? I shall assert my authority. You will respect my authority. All right. First, He-Man in the DCU. I think first ever, maybe. Was there a mini comic? And I think one of these DC Masters of the Universe has the first actual appearance of the Prince Adam character. I don't know. Here's the biggie. Let's go ahead and open this one up. I want to see if the tattoos are in here. You always want to check this one. It's another Thing from Another World book. And now, see, I'm going to put my thumb right there because I know somebody watching will yell at me for pulling a book out of a bag that's got tape without folding back the tape or whatever. But, You know, if you do it like that with your thumb there, then the odds are pretty good. That, you know, I've been collecting for 50 years. I think I've got this tape stuck on the cover like maybe twice. So this one does not have the tattoos. The tattoos insert has been pulled, so that won't do as well, but it's still the first appearance of the Hobgoblin, so we'll list it. First black suit, kind of lower grade, maybe a 5, but there it is. First Squid, that's kind of beat up too. If I had a bunch of Batman books, I would prefer to stick that in a lot to maybe goose the lot a little bit. Actually, it's not the first, I think this might be first Black Mask in cameo. It's definitely the first full Black Mask. Although I think, what's the name of that actor? The Obi-Wan guy. Is that who played him? Who played the Black Mask in the Harley Quinn movie? Boy, I think that ruined the character. Wow. All right, Wolverine #1. Here is the tied for the second appearance of the black suit after... Damn it, Jim. Colossal Boy, his real name is Jim Allen. It's spelled G-I-M, so it's kind of like a GIF thing. Do you pronounce it Jim or Gim? I think as a kid I pronounced it Gim, but then as I got older I realized they were probably playing, you know, fast and loose with spelling. You know, you use weird spelling to indicate that it's from the future or another planet, and it probably was meant to be pronounced Jim. But anyway, these days I call him Jim. Big Jim. Actually, there is a Big Jim. So anyway, where was I going? I was back here somewhere. Oh yeah. So there's the first black suit. And then the next week, this issue came out along with an issue of Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. And so those two are tied for the second appearance of the suit. Here's another Hobgoblin. This, have I told you the story on this one? I think this is the one. So February 1964. So this would have been on the stands in December-ish, 1963. But anyway, you can see here, of course, it's a familiar trope. Superman needs to hide his secret identity, so he gets one of his pals to pose as Clark Kent or as Superman. Sometimes it goes either way. So that both can appear in the same place and foil Lois and her belief that they are one and the same. Anyway, the pal he enlisted this time posing as Clark Kent was the President of the United States, John F. Kennedy. And this book actually hit the stands after Kennedy was assassinated. And so that's just kind of interesting. And so it was for decades after this, DC at least, and a lot of times Marvel too, wouldn't actually show a U.S. president in a comic book. They'd always have him in kind of like shadows. So you could kind of know by the outline, by the silhouette, who it was supposed to be, but they wouldn't mention him by name and wouldn't actually show him, just in case something like this happened again. They've been a little braver in more recent years. But anyway, this book is interesting just because it hit the stands after Kennedy was assassinated. So can you imagine the kids of the day? You know, the president has just been assassinated. The whole world is turned upside down. And so you're reading this comic book, maybe hoping for a little escapism, you know, from the adult world. And all of a sudden, there he is, your dead president. That had to be traumatizing. Anyway, moving on. Tales to Astonish #50. And with Giant Man and the Wasp. They haven't yet got a backup feature here. Batman exposed as Bruce Wayne. Oh no! Here's is this a first something? It's the first version of that Clayface or an early appearance of Batgirl? Can't remember. Can't remember. Here's a nice Silver Age Penguin. Hulk versus Thing, Fantastic Four 25. That's a good book in almost any grade. And this is a lower grade book, so good thing. All right, we're getting towards the end here. Here's an early Justice League, number 13, with the riddle of the Robot Justice League. Oh no, what do you think the solution will be? Number 23, I think that's the first appearance of Queen Bee. Number 26 with Despero. Here's an Iron Man. Boy, we've had a lot of Iron Man fighting Submariner in this box, haven't we? I guess that's a trope. Iron Fist number 1. So, basically, Iron Man just fights with everybody. He's just a cranky bastard. Doesn't get along with anyone. But there's Iron Fist number 1 for you. That's a good book. X-Men number 15. Floating head cover. X-Men 13. Where Walks the Juggernaut. That's a good book. I think that's the first Juggernaut. That's a super good book. With the Pop Art Productions. If you don't know, I think I've mentioned this before, but you never know. Every video is somebody's first. There was a time, because it was Marvel Comics, and as Marvel was getting more press and getting more attention from, college students and whatnot, and getting written up in the newspapers about, how great and popular Marvel Comics were, Stan Lee got a little bit of cold feet about being called comics, because comics are for kids. So he tried to adultify the books a little bit by kind of renaming it a Marvel Pop Art Productions. And this only lasted for about 3 issues. So there's a run of about 3 issues of all of these early Silver Age Marvels where it says Marvel Pop Art Productions. And then it goes right back to being Marvel Comics, because people are like, well, that's dumb. You're a comic book. Live with it. Don't care how pretentious you want to be. This looks like, wow. So what do you think? Somebody, it's going to get a low grade, like a 0.5, because somebody has cut, and you can see it's a scissor cut. They've cut off all the characters on the cover. Except for the Angel. Fuck Angel. Nobody cares about Angel. That's why we turned him into Archangel. But it is X-Men number 10, so even with half the cover missing, it probably will still bring at least $10. Here's a coverless book. Which one is this? Submariner joins the evil mutants. Oh, it looks like it's number 3. And it looks like it belonged to James Donnellan. Well, oh no, Jane. Jane, it's a chick. Oh no, maybe it's Jamie. That looks like an M. J-A-M-E. Donnellan. Well, whether you are James or Jamie or Jane Donnellan, if you're watching, I have your comic book. And you can't have it back. I am going to sell it. And yes, even without the cover, I think, Sean, that's a good pull. If that is number 3, and I'll look it up and just to make sure it is. But if that is number 3, by golly, assuming it's got all the pages, even without the cover, that's still a good $10 book. This is an early Punisher. This is like his 4th appearance, maybe? 4th, 5th, 6th? Something like that. More Turtles, number 4. Isn't this a different cover than the other Turtles number 4 we saw? I don't actually remember. I wouldn't be good at that game show concentration. All right, last stack. This is it. So the Punisher Limited Series number 2, Mike Zeck. Always a good pull. Good job, Sean. Number 3. These bags are kind of stuck together. Number 4. And I don't know if you've ever noticed this. So it's number 2 in a 5-issue limited series. And then I don't know if somebody lost their mind or if they, they were going to change it, but now it's 3 in a 4-issue limited series. And now it's 4 in a 4-issue limited series, and you're like, okay, well, that must be the last issue. And I guess we don't have it, but then the last one says number 5 in a 5-issue limited series. So they couldn't make up their mind as they were going. Rather, they legitimately couldn't make up their mind, or just whoever was statting the covers kept getting it wrong and nobody noticed it. But anyway, that changed back and forth. So this is cool, I think. I mean, I don't know what this will bring on eBay, but I just think it's a neat little curiosity. A Marvel Comics. This was a promo book, so 60-cent value, meaning this was out at the time when a comic book would have cost 60 cents. But this was obviously, I'm sure, a free promo. It's kind of an oxymoron, like a free gift. Not an oxymoron, a redundancy. Oh yeah. So if you don't know who the Kool-Aid Man was, if you're not old enough, that was his thing. He'd bust through walls and be like, oh yeah. Because everybody wanted their little packet of, flavored sugar crystals. They could put in water. Do they even make Kool-Aid anymore? I have no idea. I remember when I was a kid, the big thing was a Kool-Aid competitor that was called Funny Face, and there were different characters that you could collect. Every flavor had its own character. But I haven't seen any Funny Face stuff for decades. But anyway, that's kind of neat. Spider-Man 2099. This is like that. What did we see earlier? Was it the Lethal Protector book? This heavy foil cover tends to get bent here. And so it's either high grade or low grade. There's very little happy medium on that book. Here is the newsstand Heroes and Villains edition of the wedding issue, the wedding that now never happened. There's a classic iconic cover with Ant-Man riding Hawkeye's arrow. Didn't mean that as dirty as it sounded. And last but not least, the first appearance of Jubilee in Uncanny X-Men 244. So that's it. That's that box. I think Sean did a good job. There's really only these ones, and really the power packs are the only things I'm thinking of rejecting. These I just want to double check, see if I can figure out why he put them as singles. There's probably some reason. I'm sure he knows what he's doing, and there's something that makes those worthy that I'm not aware of. But that's it. Everything else in that box, I was like, yeah, do it, go for it. Oh, there were a couple more too. Here were a couple more I want to check. That one again, and that one. Well, what do you think? Do you think that all those books we looked at should bring at least $10? Are they worthy of being singles, or should we have stuck them in a multi-book lot? You let me know in the comments below. Please do like, share, subscribe, do all the groovy things. I'll try and get this video up. Been having a little bit of a problem with my internet connection. So I posted the mystery box video yesterday, and I meant to have the grading video up later that evening, but my connection was so bad that it literally took like 7 hours to upload that video. So it didn't go up until this morning. So now I'm backwards, because I normally like to do an unboxing video 9 a.m. and a grading video 5 p.m. Well, this morning's video was last night's grading video. So this video, assuming that the connection behaves itself, and I've only got like just under a meg of upload speed anyway. Hopefully this will get uploaded for 5 p.m. And then tomorrow we'll be back on the regular schedule, hopefully, Lord willing and the creek don't rise, with the unboxing at 9, the grading at 5, and maybe a little something in between. Anyway, until then, thank you for watching, and until we meet again, goodbye, good luck, and please be good to each other.